Good morning. Tyrone and Cynthia Temple seem like an ideal couple. They're young, up and coming, and looking forward to having children. But three miscarriages have left Cynthia emotionally frail. And when her father shows up for a long awaited reunion with his girlfriend in tow, things go from foul to foul play. The play is very much an emotional roller coaster for the audience. The show deals with situations of mistaken identity, time lapses, and hidden motivations. It's set in 1937 in the quaint city of Coeur, Idaho. Act 1, Scene 2. The scene opens in the dark with the sound of music. As the lights slowly rise on the den, we notice Cynthia standing by the window. The setting suggests that it is late evening, with the interior lighting dimmed low. Cynthia is dressed as before in her lush red robe. She stands quietly listening to the music until she abruptly turns, believing she has heard something directly outside the den.
Hello? Ty?
She is met only with silence, unnerving her and forcing her to reach for a cigarette. Cynthia moves across the room to the entrance door to the den and cautiously peers into the darkness.
Ty, is that you, dear? Are you home?
Still, she is greeted with silence. Cynthia walks to the sofa, looking over her shoulder as she goes. She sits and lights her cigarette. As she exhales the smoke, a figure of a man appears directly outside the doorway. It is Tyrone Temple, who is dressed in a black suit. He quietly moves to the radio and turns it off. Cynthia.
Ty.
I'm so sorry, dear. Cynthia quickly puts out her cigarette and moves toward Tyrone, embracing him.
Where have you been? I've been miserable since you left this morning. When your receptionist said you hadn't returned after lunch, I didn't know what to believe. Horrible thoughts rushed through my mind until I decided to take a tranquilizer, and when I woke up discovering you weren't there, I felt like I was losing my mind.
I needed time to think.
It was cruel of me to speak to you like that. Please forgive me.
I was insensitive and judgmental.
You were only sharing your concern, but I failed to listen.
It doesn't give me the liberty to be bullish.
You're home now, and that's all that matters.
I stepped out of my office to grab a sandwich at the deli. When I noticed a long line of people placing orders, I decided to return later. As I walked down the street, I became lost in my thoughts, wandering into unfamiliar neighborhoods. I was lost, but I didn't care. I had an important client coming into the office at 1:30, but it held no importance to me.
I can't help but feel responsible. If I had been more understanding this morning, it would never have happened.
No, everything happened exactly the way it was meant to be. I can see that now.
But getting lost?
Yes, even getting lost. Earlier, you said it was nothing an attorney couldn't untangle.
I was upset.
Nevertheless, I took it to heart, thinking over the details of our life.
Details?
Yes, as easily as exhaling unwanted smoke. I believe that's how you phrased it.
I was angry, Ty. You have to understand that.
If it can't be deposited in a bank, it holds no interest to me. We're always accountable for the words we speak, Cynthia.
This isn't a courtroom. It's our home. Don't treat me like one of your clients. It was wrong of me to say those things. You know how I get when I'm under stress.
I've worked hard to make our marriage a success. We have a beautiful home and lack for nothing. Do you think I would allow a common thief to enter our home and rob us blind?
I don't understand what you're talking about.
Life is like a well-strung pearl necklace.
What are you saying?
If not properly strung together, the pearls might go rolling on the floor.
Oh, stop it, please, Ty. You're not making sense.
What should I do to prevent this from ever happening, Cynthia?
What from happening?
Losing everything I've ever worked for.
This is crazy. Stop it, Ty. You're frightening me.
Frightened of your husband? Why? What could I possibly do to you to make you afraid?
I want to hear some music. Please turn the radio on. It settles my nerves.
Certainly. Tyrone moves to the radio and turns it on.
Thank you, Ty. That's much better.
You're welcome, darling.
Can you run your fingers through my hair? It helps relax me.
As Cynthia leans back lathwise on the sofa, Tyrone moves slowly toward her. As he walks, he reaches into his coat pocket, pulling out a long red ribbon strand, which he wraps tightly around each open palm. Would be my pleasure. Tyrone calmly lowers the red ribbon around her neck and applies pressure. Without any noise, we see her struggle to breathe as the lights go abruptly to black. In the black, we continue to hear the music and the steady ringing of the telephone. The lights rise quickly where we see Cynthia sitting upright on the sofa, clenching her throat. After a brief moment, she picks up the telephone receiver.
Hello? Paul? Give me a moment.
Cynthia moves to the radio and turns it off. She returns to the telephone. Her breathing is faster than usual and struggles to catch her breath.
I must have dozed off after Ty left for his office this morning. I had a horrible dream. Yes, we had a small spat, but nothing like before. No, he didn't hurt me. Paul, I really don't wish to discuss this any further. Okay? Wear your dark suit. Why is this always... Why do you always ask for my opinion? Because I have exquisite taste, right? Naturally. You promised not to be late. Good to see you then.
Cynthia hangs up the telephone and reaches for a cigarette. She is still frazzled as she moves to the bookshelf. She chooses a book and walks to the window. Entering through the den doorway is Tyrone, dressed in his blue pajama and green satin robe. He is carrying a teacup filled with coffee. Hold that pose.
Ty?
The light, how it cascades over your face. You're as beautiful as the day we first met.
Didn't you leave for work?
Does it bother you that I find you so attractive?
Stop it!
That's not the reaction I was hoping for. Dr. Brown encourages you to respond more freely to affection.
I don't give a damn what Dr. Brown says. What are you doing home?
What do you mean? We stepped from bed just 20 minutes ago. Are you all right, Cynthia?
You went to work.
You're not trying to get rid of me, are you?
Don't laugh at me. Why are you doing this?
Doing what?
Acting like you never left.
Did you see me go to work?
Well, you left after I fell asleep.
Cynthia, let's calmly discuss this. You're beginning to worry me.
Stop it. Why are you doing this?
You're serious, aren't you? At this point, Cynthia moves to the window and lights a cigarette. I'm getting you a tranquilizer.
I don't want a tranquilizer.
Dr. Brown recommends you take one when having stress, and this is one of those times. Tyrone doesn't wait for a response. He departs from the den. Within seconds of his departure, Cynthia hears knocking at the front door.
Ty, someone's at the front door. Can you see who it is?
No response from Tyrone. The knocking continues.
Ty, will you see who's there?
Tyrone still doesn't reply as the knocking continues. The knocking soon abruptly stops. Cynthia puts out her cigarette and moves across the den to check on it. She is stopped by the presence of an attractive woman in her mid-40s standing in the doorway.